Hello everyone, my name is Craig and welcome back to You Got Nerfed, and this is a video review over the Nerf Elite Triad EX3. It's a single shot spring powered blaster similar to a Jolt with a 3-round capacity, probably even better than a Jolt. Let's get into the review. Starting out with an unboxing. Yeah, this is going to be how I'm going to do an unboxing. I'm just going to rip right into this thing. Oh my god. Included is the blaster itself, 3 blue Nerf Elite darts, and the instructions. This is actually the first blaster that I reviewed that actually came with instructions. Interesting, not that I need instructions for this blaster, but nice that they have it. Starting off with a quick overview, starting up front, there is no end strike barrel lug. If you need an end strike barrel lug for a Triad, you got some serious issues. Yes, but up front are 3 barrels. You simply front load like this, and it runs on a smart AR system. So no matter which barrel you have, it will fire out of that barrel only. I haven't actually done a testing procedure yet, and I'll see this on a firing demo. The other Triad that I used to have favored the bottom barrel first. Whenever you had 3 in here, it would fire the bottom barrel first, then the right one, I believe, and then the left one. But you still got the same chrono velocity out of that. And even with the smart AR, it will still do that. So you minus the bottom barrel, it'll fire that one and then that one, right? It's not random. It actually has somewhat of an order to it, right? But that's how you load that. The capacity of this blaster is 3. Yes, this actually kind of is a big beefy package for this. Many people compare this to a Jolt. It's basically a 3-shot Jolt, but this is a Triad, this is a Jolt. This is much harder to conceal than a Jolt. But you do have better capacity, you will have better velocity and performance out of that. You'll see that in my firing demo, and I'll go over that in my conclusion. Spoiler alert, this is actually better than a Jolt. So you'll have to decide if you want concealment or not, to really buy it or not. Up front, there actually are some weird iron sights up here. I don't know why you need iron sights for something like this. But weird, you have that right there. They probably could have put an End Strike tactical rail on there. I've seen weirder places to put it. I don't know what you would put it on there, but there is no End Strike tactical rail. There's just these weird iron sights on here. Getting back to the back, this is where the plunger tube and stuff is housed. It totally looks like a battery tray. This is spring powered, not running on batteries. Yes, but this is a big, thick package right here. Getting down to the grip, this grip is following the Elite standard of like a Jolt or something, but it's kind of well balanced for its proportions. I have pretty small hands, so this actually fits in pretty comfortably, but it seems a little bit oversized because I have small hands. A bigger hand will fit this very, very nicely. Comfortable, maybe it's similar to a Jolt. Actually, it's kind of a worse grip than a Jolt, but whatevs. I'm not going to really touch on that too much, but that's the grip. Getting down to the T-style priming handle, you just pull that back and fire. The prime weight is pretty smooth and standard for most Elite single-shot blasters, surprisingly, especially for how much velocity is going through this thing, right? Then getting down to the trigger guard, trigger pull is pretty standard, very, very similar to, if not identical to, the Jolt trigger, right? There's still a lot more power going through that, but it's It's pretty easy to use. I can get one finger all the way in there. If you have a bigger hand, you're probably going to press just like that down on the trigger. Trigger guard is pretty cool. All of that stuff. Not really much to really go over. Either complain. Pretty good design. Very interesting proportions. I wouldn't say great proportion, but I would think that it's necessary for what this blaster really is. This blaster does not have slam fire. So, yeah. But, yeah, really getting over to this. This is that. This is a Jolt. You're going to make endless comparisons to the two. Yeah, so here's really going to determine whether you want to buy it or not. Let's get into a firing demo. Alrighty, starting out with some blue Nerf Elite darts, standard target. We're going to do 3 of those. Oop, if I cannot drop the darts. Awesome. 2 red Elite dart thingamabobbers. I don't know if these are Elite darts, so that's why I'm trying them separately. What the heck? Some more Elite darts. I have 2 of these black ones, and then I'm going to try one Elite 2.0 dart. Two more Elite 2.0 darts. Nice. Now some Dart Zone's nipple head style darts. That was on me. Nice. Now some white Amosting darts. Damn, that actually hit. Woo! Those were some of the most accurate shots I could ever do. I don't know if you can't tell because of the glare or the distance to it, but each one of those hit that left square of the door, middle rectangle of the door back there, which is what I was aiming for. Every single one of those Amosting darts. Now some Screamer darts. And lastly, for comparison's sake, 3 old orange and strike darts. Yikes. With that mishap of that Dart Zone dart, that was due to me. I was doing some weird stuff. I'm going to just fire it again just for fun. Boom. So to ultimately compare the Triad to things on the market, I'm going to fire all of the ammo types out of a Nerf Jolt to really show the performance difference between the two. Right, starting out with the red Elite Dart thingamabobbers. Now some new blue Nerf Elite darts. Nerf Elite 2.0 darts. Dart Zone nipple head style darts. white and most sting darts. It's actually not bad for the accuracy. I'm not even aiming at anything. Oh, that one was pretty low. Screamer darts. Well, that sucked. And lastly, old end strike darts. Okay. Firing analysis and conclusion of the triad. Very, very impressive. This is a very powerful package in such smallish form factor. Right, getting over to how some of the projectiles fired. These red elite style darts, I feel like these are not elite style darts every single time that I fired them. I feel like they're a cross between elite darts and the most sting darts. I really do. But yeah, I actually got a little bit lower-ish velocity out of these than both of those other dart types, but just wanted to note that. Speaking of elite darts, this thing shot elite darts super, super hard. Chrono velocity of this blaster, by the way, is about 68, 69 feet per second, which is almost up in the range of most primaries for the Elite Series. Elite Series par for velocity is about 70 FPS. And this is shooting as hard as some of the primaries. And this is not meant to be a primary. This is like a backup or even emergency pistol. And it's shooting just as hard as that, which is incredibly impressive, right? And you could tell in the firing demo, these darts went flying, especially the elite darts. They weren't overly accurate, but they were, I found they were pretty, actually they weren't pretty precise either, but they did at least reach the target and had okay groupings enough. So the accuracy of this blaster, because of its velocity, is decent. But then it actually depends on the ammo type, right? The elite darts, you're going to get some good velocity out of it, but don't expect good accuracy. But really impressed with that. The Dart Zone darts, I think I got slightly faster velocity out of these and a bit better accuracy out of them. The Dart Zone darts fired very, very well as well in that one. The one that I really want to highlight on are these Sting darts. This blaster was very precise and accurate with the Sting darts. Remember, there's a difference between both of those terms, but a blaster can be precise and accurate. It can also be accurate and not precise, or precise and not accurate, or neither of the two, or both. This blaster, the Triad, with the Sting darts, happened to be both. I mentioned in the firing demo, I chose one rectangle on that back door, and it hit exactly where I was going 3 out of 3 times. Yes, and it shot it with incredible velocity, about that 70 FPS velocity. I couldn't tell just by the eye. I would need a chronograph, but I believe all of these shot about the same velocity. Some of them might have been shooting harder or softer. I need a chronograph to determine that, right? But, and I don't have any other data that I wrote down for that purpose. But these darts, definitely check out some Sting darts or even waffle head style dart if you want some good accuracy and great velocity out of it. It did that. The Screamer darts, it actually launched pretty well, but they had a very, very low arc to it, where as opposed to most of the other projectiles went like this in a straight line and then hit and bounce off. This one shot a little bit lower and had a little bit lower arc, but it did reach its target. It was way off. I was trying to shoot that middle and it shot way below, but that's a low arc, not a low, right? But it did reach its target, but I don't recommend Screamer darts. I just use that for the comparison's sake. Now the old end strike darts, chuck those away. Yes, I literally had to throw the darts at my target, and I could throw the darts better than it can launch out of most of my blasters. So yeah, it's fun for comparison's sake, and unless these darts are extremely new, even trying to fire them out of even elite blasters is practically going to be impossible. But it was fun to note. This one is a DNF, did not fire, so lay bummer, right? But performance out of the Triad, incredible. And you saw me compare it to a Jolt in there, and it has better performance. This is about 50, anywhere between 56 and 59 feet per second. This is about 10 FPS harder than a Jolt, right? So let's go over the pros and cons of a Triad, and then get to my personal opinion. The pros and cons, it has three shots or a capacity of 3 instead of 1, while you might choose it over a Jolt. It has better performance, at least 10, if not more, FPS than a Jolt, right? I would almost say that it's a bigger form factor. It's bigger and it doesn't feel quite as cramped as a Jolt, I guess, if you wanted to. It fits in the same roles as that, and that's pretty much about it, right? Why would you choose a Jolt over this? Is probably for concealment. If you want something in an even smaller package than the Jolt, than the Triad, which is actually quite a beefy package for what it is, but I understand the proportions, you might choose a Jolt over that, right? The 59 feet velocity, you can make that work. You'll just have to close in on your target a little bit more than with a Triad, but you could still make it work. And even with the less accuracy, you're going to be doing this a lot, but you're also going to be doing that a lot with the Triad, because you're probably going to be doing... That's probably about the fire rate you're going to be shooting at, and then you're already needing to reload within like 5 seconds, right? I can see that you're probably going to end up dumping most of that ammo. But there are pros and cons to both, but let's get into my personal opinion. My personal opinion of the Triad EX3, extremely high. I love this blaster for its great performance, its overall accuracy, if you say it, and just it's a powerful package for a 3-shot blaster. Now, of course, if you want something that will do about that same but more capacity, you could get a strong, or if you want something that's a dedicated sidearm and not an emergency pistol, you could get a strong arm or disruptor. One of those has slam fire. I think it's the strong arm, not the disruptor, that has slam fire. One of those does. And you still have a powerful package out of that. That's more of a dedicated sidearm than what this is. But this is that in between a Jolt, a natural sidearm, and a dedicated like sidearm. This is a very, very powerful package. You could put this in a pocket. This is still kind of beefy even for that, but you could definitely put this in a pocket. It's gonna stick out more than a Jolt, but it's really, really fun. And that's why I like it. I kind of actually like these. I kind of don't like these proportions, but like right here, like the trigger to the grip area is perfect for my hand. It's a little bit oversized for me, but it's perfect. Up here, the proportions are a little bit weird, but I find that, because I find it much more proportional when using a Jolt, but this is still pretty good for that. So to buy or not to buy, I would highly recommend this product. If you're looking for a dedicated emergency pistol that has great velocity and performance, reliable, but you don't want a single shot capacity, check out the Triad, right? I know you could buy these off of store shelves still. Just like the Jolt is actually much more rare to find on store shelves, but you can still buy it. The Triad is going to be a little bit more frequent, but I would definitely recommend a Triad, probably over a Jolt. Now, of course, the concealment factor is going to, of course, be in there. What type of game are you playing? if I was hosting a Nerf war, I'd probably allow you to carry both of these blasters, right? They could, for some reason, you could, for super close, right? You could fire off a Jolt and then have a 3-shot triad, right? Since this is shooting with immense velocity, if you really need that emergency blaster, a Jolt can fill in that role. But I'd probably recommend a triad over a Jolt, right? And I meant to mention this in my overview, but that it not really matters. This blaster does come in multiple colors. It comes in what is called this XD version, the white and bluish, but it does also come in a standard blue color like the Jolt, which I actually kind of like better, but I could only find a white Jolt or white triad on Amazon for some reason. At least ones that was pretty cheap. Yeah, the blue one, for whatever reason, was like $12. I have no idea. It's a little bit more expensive than a Jolt, and you could definitely tell why. But I would still definitely recommend this product for that purpose. There's really nothing better, unless if you want a dedicated sidearm, again, like a strong arm or a disruptor or something like that, or even like a retaliator in pistol mode, could work better than the triad. But if you compare it to a Jolt, in my opinion, there's actually, except for, again, that concealment factor, which, in my opinion, is not really that much to want to buy a Jolt over this, go buy a triad. Yes, the Jolt has been dethroned, y'all. Go buy a triad. This is incredible, right? A pretty incredible blaster. Yeah, let me know what you think of the triad down in the comments down below. My name is Craig. Leave this video a like and subscribe if you like this type of content, and I'll see you guys in the next video.